Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Common Sense View. My heart is bleeding for the families who lost their loved ones in Germany 2 days ago. Their life will never be the same again. Their family will never be the same again. Their relatives and the country will never be the same again. Why is this type of thing happening every year almost? Why does it keep on repeating itself from one country to another? Nobody is saying anything forcefully. Why is this happening? Why is it that nobody who should act is doing something about it? We send our condolences. We empathize with the family. But if you have kids, you know that no amount of empathy, no amount of sympathy, no amount of condolence wish can compensate for your loss. And in such a tragic manner, in a period where you're supposed to be rejoicing, in a festive period, when you have really worked hard during the year and you are counting down, and somebody from somewhere to do with your life who didn't know how you have managed to survive to the point because of his ideology, because of his beliefs, because of his intolerance, and because of his sense of vigilante justice, because of hatred. He took life of so many. As it stands, 5 people are already dead. But even if it was one person, the entire nation was dealt a heavy blow. My major annoyance is not just this man, which is terribly hurting, but how the media is trying to spin this. They systematically, practically every of the media, every of the legacy media, a car that rammed into people. What kind of nonsense is that? A gun that shot somebody. A gun cannot shoot anyone. A car cannot just ram into the people, at least not yet. There's no self-driving car that is operating in such area, at least not yet. And then they will keep that a man of 50 years old, the descent of Saudi Arabia, they keep it around the third or fourth or fifth paragraph. Knowing quite well that people just read the headline and the first paragraph. Why is that? Is it that bad to say a 50-year-old man rammed his car, BMW car, into a market full of people? And then you can talk about where he's coming from. And as a matter of fact, being from Saudi Arabia, being a Muslim, doesn't mean that all Saudi Arabians are killers. And it doesn't mean that all Muslims are killers. But when you spin it this way, you unintentionally portray that kind of information. It's so appalling. It's so appalling. Today, the Prime Minister of Germany went there. He said something. I just want to check it on the news. What he said. His own reaction to the information as a terrible event. He called it a terrible event, which is an obvious fact. But the question is, would it have been avoided? Would it have been avoided? I just want you to listen at what Viktor Orbán of Hungary said. The media is saying that this man, even though he declared that in the 2019 post that he is against Islam, but now he's siding with the far-right ideology. You see how stupid it sounds? He's against Islam, but he killed Christians on the peak of the festive period. So instead of just avoiding that and making themselves look stupid, they still go on because they are always predictable. Just say who this man is, say his profession, and say where he is from, and the effect of what he did, the ripple effect of what he did. Trying to spin that he's an anti-Muslim doesn't make you look good because he didn't kill Muslims. He killed Christians on the peak of the celebration. So stop. Nobody's calling him an Islamic terrorist. He's just a terrorist. That being said, just listen to what Viktor Orbán said. I managed to write out the English translation of it, but he said it in Hungarian, and I managed to write out what he said. Just let's listen, and then you can read along. He just there on the screen.
Nem szabad megengedni Magyarország átalakulását egy olyan világgá, amelyben ilyesmi megtörténhet. Mindenek előtt talán az a helyes, ha először az együttérzésünket és a fájdalmunkat fejezzük ki a németországi terrorcselekmény áldozatainak családjai felé, és általában a német népnek. Ezek a jelenségek csak azóta léteznek Európában, mióta migrációs válság lett. Nem kétséges, hogy van összefüggés a Nyugat-Európában megváltozott világ, az oda beáramló illegális migráció és a terrorcselekmények között. Vannak, akik ezeket az összefüggéseket tagadni próbálják, de az egyszerű tény mindenképpen tiszteletet követel, hogy kimondjuk, hogy korábban ilyesmi nem volt, most meg van. És azért Magyarország azt a tanulságot tudja ebből levonni, hogy következetesen ki kell tartani amellett, hogy nem szabad megengedni Magyarország átalakulását egy olyan világgá, amelyben ilyesmi megtörténhet.
Hungary must not be allowed to transform into a world where such things can happen. First and foremost, it is perhaps right to express our sympathy and sorrow to the families of the victims of the terrorist attack in Germany and to the German people in general. These phenomena, mark that, these phenomena is not the first time and it's not one of a kind. It has been going around the entire Western Europe. And that is also, these phenomena, these events have only existed in Europe since the migrant crisis began. Migrant crisis, not immigration. Because you see the media saying that he's anti-migrant policies. That was Reuters. Is it? Hold on, I want to be sure so that I don't... Oh, it's the AP, Associated Press. He described it as his anti-migrant policies. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán Saturday drew a direct link between immigration and attack in Germany, where a man drove into a Christmas market teeming with holiday shoppers, killing at least 5 people and injuring 200 others. You see that? But he said migrant crisis, not just immigration. Now, I'm just coming to that. During a rare appearance before independent media, Orbán expressed his sympathy to the families of the victims of what he called the terrorist act. What he called terrorist act. What he called terrorist act. That is what AP is describing to what he called terrorist act. On Friday night in the city of Magdeburg, but the long-serving Hungarian leader, one of the Europeans' most vocal critics, also implied that the 27 nations bloc's migration policies were to blame. It is not what he said. German authorities said that act suspect or it. Okay, look at this. Orbán claimed without evidence that such attacks only began to occur in Europe after 2015, when hundreds of thousands of migrant refugees entered the EU after largely fleeing war and violence in Middle East. You see, you don't need to ask for evidence. Now, this doesn't mean that it's specifically the Middle East or the Middle West that is doing this. But you don't need to ask of evidence when they are in plain sight. At least in Germany, we have experienced 2 or 3 of these. In Sweden, Malmo, there are areas that you cannot go, literally. And it's the same thing all over Europe. It doesn't really mean any particular religion is responsible for this. But it means that there is an antecedent. Something happened sometime and this started happening. And he called it since the migrant crisis began. There is no doubt that there is a connection between the changing world in the Western Europe, the influx of illegal immigrants, illegal immigration, and acts of terrorism. This is called willful ignorance. All of these news media willfully claim ignorance to this fact, to his statement. And until we grapple this fact and hold on to it, this cannot stop. Nobody is being blamed. There is violence everywhere. Foreigners, citizens, Christians, Muslims. Everyone has one aspect of them that commit violence. And until we call those aspects without victimizing the entire group, it cannot stop. You cannot say a group is protected so much that one person among them commit evil, it's not good to point it out. Because when you maintain that policy, it means that one person's evil is synonymous with all the group's evil, which is a complete nonsense, non sequitur. It's not it's in a way of arguing at all. And that is what is bedeviling the media of today. They have lost their common sense. Going forward, he said, there are those who try to deny this connection, the connection that the migration crisis, illegal immigrant influx, and the terrorism, that they are connected. There are those who try to deny this connection, but the simple fact demands respect. It's obvious. That is as simple as that. It's obvious. Previously, such things didn't happen. But now they do. Hungary must draw the lesson from this and consistently uphold that it must not allow itself to transform into a world where such things happen. This is just more of it telling his country. But you can't imagine that such an act, instead of receiving a direct condemnation, without trying to spin anything, the media must always find a way to put a spin. Now, some news outlets, just as AP has managed to cast this as a far-right issue instead of illegal immigration issue or even legal immigration, because legal migrants can still be indoctrinated or brainwashed. Even citizens can also be. So it's a violent issue. The car didn't drive itself into the public. Human being did. The same way when people shoot others, it's the human being that do. The spoon doesn't make you fat. You eat and get fat. Until we get direct with the information we are passing, we are not ready to make any difference. So let's just check 1 or 2 news outlets to see what they have. I just wanted to make this as short as possible because it is painful reading through most of this. So this is people. Death toll rises to 5, including a 9-year-old. After man drives car into hundreds of shoppers at Christmas. After man drives car. This makes a little sense. Unlike what I have read all today. After a car rammed into the shoppers. And you ask yourself, can a car just ram into shoppers? Now they have gone up to 5 people. And 9-year-old, and also I'm also hearing that a toddler was involved among the dead. You see that? A life that is just starting was just cut short. by a lunatic who have no reason to be protected. And these are German Magdeburg attack could shape upcoming election. That is all they think about. But it should. It should. With a federal election in February, it didn't take long for politicians to try and exploit the attack at the Christmas market in Magdeburg. Domestic security will likely become a key election campaign issue. It should. It should. People want to be protected by the government they voted in. People want protection. They don't want you to spoon feed them. They want a level playing ground, security of life, property. Life and property. So that they'll be able to engage in their commerce and live a good life. When it is not guaranteed in the hand of the person they ask to lead them, they have the right to look for options or to still have confidence. As a matter of fact, a vote of no confidence was voted on the current prime minister. He might still be able to build up his confidence with whatever that is going on now, or he might lose it the more. It should be part of politics. So to claim that it shouldn't be is another spin. The first effort to instrumentalize Friday's deadly ramming of the Magdeburg Christmas market, see that, came less than an hour after the attack. False rumors circulated that there were 5 attackers, 3 of whom were still on the loose, that they had arrived in Germany as refugees from Syria in 2015 and 2016. And what it wasn't just a car that had killed at least 34 people, but a bomb placed at the... Oh, you are the only people who had this. I never heard of that, but it can also be a rumor. A rumor remains a rumor. People will always say things, but it's not going to be political. Political is political and any other thing. Only the AFD would have deported the man long ago. Okay? The people are saying that the alternative for Germany, the new party that is gaining popularity, would have deported these people. Dominic Kofner, an AFD member of the Brandenburg state legislature, posted to social media that millionfold migration is the problem and millionfold remigration is the solution. Well, he alone knows what he means. Migration and remigration. I don't know what word that is remigration. Maybe it could be deportation if it's an illegal immigrant. If you have a justified reason to be illegal, it's not my duty to tell the government what to do. They know what the law says. In her own post, AFD member of the state parliament in Lower Saxon, Vanessa Behrens, blamed rival German parties such as the center-left Social Democratic SPD, the center-right Christian Democrats CDU, Greens and the Left Party. They are responsible for this. They alone. Well, that is the normal thing opposition parties do. Opposition parties in the world, every part of the world do this. They specifically level the blame of all anomalies in the country on the leading party, as they should. Otherwise, why are they opposition? So saying that they pounce on it, if you don't want any opposition to pounce on anything bad, then prevent that from happening. If this is a good thing, the leading party would have taken credit for it. So being bad, they should take also blame for it. That is the way it happens. With an eye on federal election scheduled for February, AFD leader Alice Weidel, the party candidate for the chancellorship, wrote on social media, "When will this madness come to an end?" Yeah, you are a diviner. You are a diviner to know that he's writing based on the thought of the coming election. In a way, the media should find a way to hide their bias a little bit, but they don't, unfortunately. So, please, if you are finding any value in this message, please subscribe, like, and share. Also, comment. Talk about this incident. It is not good that people wake up in the morning, all they have in their mind is hate, so bad enough to take the life of others. So, talk about it. Let's talk about this. It's not a monologue issue. And that also, while I was going through information for this, I read this morning that a man set a woman sleeping in a car near a train station on fire in the US. You don't just wake up in the morning and suddenly comes to your mind to kill. Before you kill, there is always a premeditation, except if it's just a mere accident. But all of this doesn't look like an accident. And if we don't change the mindset that is causing this, and the media report honorably, all of this will keep on happening. If we will see somebody who is saying, I will do a better job if I am in charge, I will do a better job if you vote me in. If we don't see it as a legitimate claim to make and just see it as a more of political ploy, then things will not change. If those in charge are not doing well, it is bent upon those who are the opposition to show how they will do a better job. You cannot just stay by the side, and because you don't want to be criticized as pouncing on an issue like this for political reasons, you don't talk. So claiming that they talk because it's a political factor, it doesn't make any sense. Now, leading right-wing figures in Europe have also weighed in, criticizing the German authorities for failing to take stronger preventive action. German far-right political party Alternative for Germany is calling for a major rally following the attack at a Christmas market in Magdeburg, which left several people dead and hundreds injured. At the memorial site, my problem is they usually put this far-right. One other paper said a party, Elon Musk was telling the prime minister to leave in support of a party linked to the Nazis. Is there any party in Germany that is not linked to the Nazis? All of them are Germans. And everyone knows that the entire Germany was trying to dominate Europe. So one way or the other, any party in Germany is linked to the Nazis. Yeah, but they are not there. You cannot say that what these people are saying is the same thing that was accused of the SD in Sweden, that they are far right. The same thing that was accused of the Republican party in US, they are far right. The party that won the election in Italy, they are far right. The Argentina party that won, that is making things better for the people, they are far right. The Romanian party that would have won before the council, they are far right. Just call them populism. If you don't, even if they are far right, you have dominated the central stage for more than 100 years. What did you do that the entire West is turning to the right at this point in time? What did you do? What did the left do that is turning the entire left to right-wingers at this critical point of our civilization? Is it not obvious that the people are seeing that populism is the way to go? And at least their leader is listening to them. They may not have all the answers, but at least they are listening to the problem they are being communicated to. Using far right or calling people Nazi or calling people extremists cannot change anything for the left. You have to come to the realization that you do not hold the axis anymore. You do not control the media anymore. If you want the trend to at least come to the middle, you have to be honest in your reporting. Calling people far right because they will say, we don't want our people being run down on a Christmas market. We don't want our cities being ungovernable. We don't want Sharia law as a public law for everyone. Those who want to obey it can, but not in our cities. We don't want Christian law like dogmas to be the order of the day in the city. It's the same thing. If people can't say that and vote in that regard and not being called far right by the media, if they can't do that, then you have a problem. If they can't say anything against it, then liberalism will die, will be its own cause of its own demise. So please, spare me about this far-right nonsense. It doesn't have any weight anymore. It has been bastardized so much that it's as good as saying Black Lives Matter when it is obvious that all lives matter. You say Black Lives Matter, yet the things where it really comes to, you don't address them. It's far right. These are people they are extremists in that party. Those parties you call far right. Yeah. Just as there are extremists in every party except the center. And it's not by answering the name Central Party that you are the center. No. People who navigate to the middle, who are ready to withstand or listen to the beckonings of the left and the beckonings of the right. And I say to my friends, the future is in the middle. And I say it again here, looking at you people, anyone who come across this message, the future is in the middle. It's not on the left and it's not on the right. And that is what populism is bringing. If you do not come to the middle, you'll be left behind. And on that note, I say thank you so much for watching. If you like what you heard, please indulge me, subscribe, and like, share, and I hope to see you another time. Thank you so much once more, and have a lovely Christmas.